And welcome back to another amazing video here on Universal Leadership Development. I'm very excited to share with you guys today the secrets and the knowledge to the law of the process by John C Maxwell's 21 irrefutable laws of leadership. Stay tuned.
The third law is the law of process. And the law of process says leadership develops daily, not in a day. This is an incredible law. I love to teach it, and the reason I love to teach it is because if a person can understand process, they're going to be very effective as a leader. But if they don't understand the process of becoming a leader, they're going to get very frustrated. Let me explain to you. Many times when I do leadership conferences, when we have a Q&A period of time, probably the most common question asked to me when I do leadership conference, somebody raised their hand and say, John, here's the question. Are leaders born? And whenever they ask me the question, are leaders born? I always look at them and I always say, of course they are. Think about that question. I've never met an unborn leader. Don't particularly want to either, thank you very much. Now what they're really asking is, they're not asking are leaders born. What they're really asking is, are there leaders that, are people when they're born, they kind of got it. You know what I'm saying? They got it, and are there people when they're born, they don't got it. And I suppose if you got it, you lead, and if you don't got it, you get in line. You know what I mean? And hope there's a water fountain at the end somewhere, okay? That's a very important question. Because what I have found is this, and this is so huge. What I have found is there are a lot of people who just think you either have it or you don't have it. And I'm going to tell you right now, that is not true. There are people that have leadership leanings. Of course there are. Just like there are people when they're born, they have kind of musical leanings. So there are leanings toward leadership that some people have that other people don't have. But anyone can learn to be a leader. In fact, that's why I have such a passion to teach leadership. That's why I have such a passion to teach these laws. Because if you learn these laws, it becomes absolutely amazing how well you're going to be able to learn to lead. So let me take a moment and explain to you a couple important thoughts in this law. In your notes, we overestimate the event and we underestimate the process. I have found this to be very common with people in leadership. They overestimate what an event will do for them. They come to a leadership conference or they read a leadership book and they say, oh my goodness, this is so good. And this is going to make me a leader. This is going to change me. Now, let me just explain to you the difference between the event and the process, because this will help you understand the law of process. For example, when you go to a leadership event, I'm talking about like going to a leadership conference, reading a leadership book, okay, listening to a leadership lecture. Okay, when you go to a leadership event, that encourages decisions. That's what it does. In other words, you go and say, oh my goodness, I know it's important for me to lead, so I'm going to make a decision. For example, when I taught you the law of the lid and said that everything's going to rise and fall on your leadership, many of you made a choice probably. You said, oh my goodness, then if that's the truth and my lid of leadership is going to determine how effective I am in my business, I'm going to have to learn to lead. That's a decision. Events encourage decisions. The process encourages development. The emphasis in process is continue to grow and develop yourself. The event motivates people. We all love to come and be motivated and encouraged, but the process matures people. And we're wanting to mature you as a leader. To motivate you, yes, but mature you is much more important. The event is a calendar issue. You say, okay, on this certain date, I'm going to go to an event and learn some leadership, whereas the process is a culture issue. It's being in an environment or a culture that encourages you every day to learn, every day to grow, every day to develop yourself as a leader. The event challenges people. I find that I'm challenged when I go to leadership events, but the process changes people. Why? Because you can't change overnight. You can make a sudden decision, but you can't make a sudden change. That's a process. And there's a lot of difference between that. You see, here's what I think. I think the event is easy, and I think the process is difficult. And I want to encourage you, as you're watching these training tapes, to understand that it's a process. And it's not one day, one time, one book, one lecture that's going to change your life. But it's going through the process of doing that. And the reason that leadership must be a process is because leadership is many-faceted. In fact, think about it for a moment. There are 21 irrefutable laws of leadership. Just the very fact there are 21 laws of leadership tells you you just can't absorb it, or you can't learn it, or you can't apply it instantly. I was doing a leadership lecture in, a couple years ago, doing a conference. And I'll never forget, during the break, I was signing books, and this kid came up to me, and he was just out of college, and kind of probably a business major, and he was all excited about leadership, what he was learning. And I could see his passion. I love kids because, they just have great passion. So he came up to me, and he kind of gets in my face a little bit, and he said, "Okay, John," he said, "I love this leadership stuff. So I've been listening to you all day. So I got a question." I said, "What's your question?" He said, "What's the one thing I need to know about leadership?" I thought, oh my. So I sucked it up to get energy. Here we go. Got to match this kid's intensity. So I looked at him, and I kind of got in his face. And I said, "The one thing you need to know to be a great leader is that there is more than one thing you need to know to be a great leader." In fact, I said there are 21 things that you need to know to be a great leader. Now, you see, here's the kid. What's he doing? He's trying to take leadership and condense it. He's basically wanting me to fast food leadership. He's wanting to come to the window of leadership and get a sack of leadership. You know what I'm saying? And take off down the road with this sack of leadership and kind of eat it on the way and come out of the car as a great leader. Can't happen. Why? Because leadership is many-faceted. Let me explain. Look at your notes for a moment. We've already understood that, first of all, leadership is influence. So it certainly is the ability to influence people, but it's more than influence. I can show you people that have influence, but they're not great leaders. Isn't that true? Well, it's also, secondly, navigation. The ability to take people from point A to point B to point C. So there's a navigating principle of leadership, and yet I can show you people that are tour guides that aren't good leaders. Or thirdly, it's empowerment. It's the ability to take people and empower them. Of course it is. To be able to put belief in people and let them go to a higher level on their own. But it's more than empowerment. Number 4, it's relationships. It's getting along with people, and yet I know people who get along with me very well, but they can't lead anything. Number 5, it's timing. There's a huge amount of timing that's involved in leadership, and the ability to understand timing. It's huge. In fact, there's a whole law on it. But it's more than timing. Number 6, it's momentum. If you do timing right, you get the big mo going for you. And it's the ability to sense and feel the surge of momentum in an organization, but it's more than momentum. It's more than just getting the big mo going for you. Number 7 is sacrifice. It's the ability to give up so you can go up. Of course it is. And yet I know people that they've sacrificed and they're still not great leaders. You see, you're beginning to catch this. Number 8, it's attitude. It's the way you think. And yet I know people have great attitudes that aren't great leaders. Now, let me just stop down. Here's what I think it's very obvious to all of us right now. It's very obvious to all of us. And that is, it's many-faceted. In other words, it's the ability to understand a lot of things that make you a well-rounded, mature leader. It's kind of like in the NFL and pro quarterbacks. It's kind of like a rookie quarterback coming into that major league. It's impossible for them the first year to be probably a great quarterback. There's just too much. I was up speaking the other day with the Cleveland Browns and Butch Davis and the crew, and they were talking to me, and I literally had a guy give me a 30-minute teaching on the quarterback and all they have to learn in their first year. And I thought, I was amazed. I thought, oh my goodness. It's, read the defenses and understand the offense and be able to sense the shifts and be able to change the play in a moment. It's a lot of stuff. Now, here's what I want you to know. I think that the problem is too many times we try to microwave leaders. We put them in a microwave, we get them in our company and say, oh my goodness, I got to develop some leaders. And I got this Maxwell stuff. He said, develop leaders. So come here, I want you to be a leader. I think you can be a leader. Here, get in the microwave. We push them in, push a few buttons and zap them. By the way, because we microwave so many leaders, that's why we have so many Pop-Tart leaders running around. Yeah, if you got a lot of Pop-Tart people in your company, it's because you've been microwaving. We need to quit microwaving leaders, and we need to start crock-potting leaders. That's huge. One more thought about this tremendous law of process. That is, the secret of our success is discovered in our daily agenda. What we do every day is the secret to our success. Not what we do at one moment or not what we're going to do sometime. A couple of years ago, I wrote a book called Your Roadmap for Success. And I'll never forget when I wrote the book, my publisher wanted to call it Your Roadmap to Success. I said, no, you can't call it the Roadmap to Success because there's no such places. Success is not a destination. It's a journey. It's a process. And so many times we confuse true success with what I call recognition of success. It's like my friend one time said to me, he said, John, all my life I've worked hard at being an overnight success. Bingo. That's so key. It's a process. The law of process says leaders develop daily, not in a day.
And there we go, guys. Another amazing video. Lots of powerful information. I hope you guys take notes. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And within the description below, there is a link so you guys can go ahead and test your knowledge. See how much information you retain today. And if you have any questions and if you felt that this was very helpful, let me know in the comments. What did you like the best? Thank you.